but there are other ways to do sidechaining that I believe are much more useful. It's the way I like to do it with every project, because why not? It also gives you other options. Welcome back to Mix Our Band, recording your band or your tracks on a budget in the real world. Today I want to talk to you about sidechaining and sidechaining methods. Now, we all know, or most of us know, what sidechaining is. Now, for those who don't know what sidechaining is, that's when you have a bass and a kick and perhaps they're getting in the way of each other and you'd like to duck the bass while the kick hits. Typically what it's used for a lot in EDM, but it's also used in basically every genre of music where two things may be fighting with each other and you'd like to move one out of the way while the other one is doing its thing at that time. But there are other ways to do sidechaining that I believe are much more useful. It's the way I like to do it with every project, because why not? It also gives you other options to do more with your sidechaining. All right, let's take a look at it right now. Okay, here we are in the project that I've set up to show you how this is going to work. Let's just hear it. So what do we got going on here? We got a bass and another kind of a bass. It's more of like a low synth ARP. We've got a pluck hi-hat. We have a snare and a nice kick drum. Now, don't pay any attention to these two just yet. That's where the magic is happening. So normally you'd have a kick going, a bass going. You would send right here from this kick drum, and we're sending our kick drum to bus 20. We shut off that bus because we don't want to hear this coming through this track right here by turning that up. And now we can see that we're sending a signal to bus 20 here. Let's call this our sidechain. All right, kick. Come up to this bass and we would put a compressor on it. You can use any stock plugin that you have in your DAW. It doesn't have to be Logic. As soon as it hits, it turns down so we hear the transients of the kick come through. On the sidechain input of the compressor, we pick channel 20, and there you go. You can see right now, every time the kick hits, it's kind of pulling down right here. You can see this little pulling down right here. Let's exaggerate that. All right, so that's normal, your normal sidechaining. So let's get to the answer, and it kind of goes a little something like this. I'm going to copy that kick. I'm going to pull it down right there, and we put that on a separate channel down here. Now this channel goes nowhere. I give it a name. Again, while we're here, I have also done that with the snare. Now we have our kick here. It's not making any sound. We're going to come back up to our bass. And instead of picking it up from that bus we sent it to, now basically what you've done is just created a dedicated sidechaining track. We're going to look for it. It's right here. Instead, it's an audio track. Instead of it being a bus, which means the kick is routed from the kick through a send to a channel that's turned off. Then this compressor is routed through the sidechain to pick up that turned off signal in a bus. What is that, 4 steps right there? Instead, we got 2 steps, or maybe 1, because basically we have the kick playing and we're going to pick it up right from that channel, that track, without sending it to a send. So there it is. It's coming in on 5. Let's play a little bit of this and see what's happening. So there's our kick right there. And remember, that's this kick. It looks like it's doing nothing. And the cool part is, right off the bat, I have this track here, bass in solo, yet still, the sidechain is still working. If this were the other setup, when I solo this bass, the sidechaining would cut out because the bass is no longer being sent down the track and hitting the aux bus and going out to that bus and triggering the sidechain. But because it's picked up on its own track, the sidechain works no matter what I solo. Kick doesn't have to be playing through, but you can see clearly right here, it's still coming in. By the way, if you're enjoying what we're talking about today and you think you've gotten something out of it, think about hitting that subscribe button or smashing that like button. There's going to be a lot more to come, and you'll be the first to get noticed when they arrive. Let's get back to it. And the final part here about setting this up is offsetting. Let's zoom right in here. And because this is just a copy of the kick, you can see the transients of the kick right now happens right there. Okay? And I'm going to move it forward in time by, if you look up here at my nudge value, I'm going to move it in time 30 milliseconds. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3. Looks like a lot. If we zoom back out here, you can see it's almost barely noticeable. What it allows is for your side chain kick to trigger the compression 30 milliseconds early. You don't always need 30 milliseconds. It could be 10 milliseconds. It could be no milliseconds, or it could be after the fact. What's not happening is that we're not locked into using just the kick drum from the song to drive the compression. So let's take a look at what's happening here. Okay, did you hear that? How the kick got a little hit harder? So this is a great technique. Now, if I wanted to trigger this even earlier, I got it 30 milliseconds, I'd say 40 milliseconds early. So now what's happening is that the kick drum is hitting 40 milliseconds before the actual kick drum. And that might be too early, because what's going to happen eventually is that compressor is going to release if you get too far out before your kick drum actually hits, and then it becomes useless. So I'm going to move this back to about 20 milliseconds. Isn't that great? You know what's another cool thing is when you have gaps. And what do I mean by gaps? Imagine right in this area, right here. This is a drop. By using this technique, we keep the compressor and compression going. They continue. We don't have a loss of the bass rhythm. Pretty cool technique. Sidechain compression can be a great tool to modify a track, hold things down, keep things under control, and actually create different dynamics, locomotions within a track. There's also a tool called sidechain expansion, and I cover that in another video, and you can find the link right here, over there, I think. I'm not sure. Thank you for joining me. Until next time, I'm Alex Murphy. Thanks for watching.